Okay, so welcome to the meeting. My name is Akeem Bey, or Coach Keem. I'm the credit sheet. Tonight I'm going to be discussing how to remove late payments from your credit report. So just a little background about myself. So my name is Akeem. I'm, of course, a credit specialist. I started out with my own company in about 2015 with a partner of mine. We ended up, just to keep it short, right? So I could get into this. We lost our company. It was a painting company because ultimately we couldn't finance the business, right, in times of need. Um, so, so somebody else trying to jump on, or somebody trying to get on right now. So, we couldn't finance the business in times of need. So, neither of us knew how to build business credit and neither of us had solid personal credit, right? So needless to say, I ended up back in the workforce. I needed an additional source of income. And, I had a few people around me at the time that needed some help with their credit as well. So another good friend of mine told me about this company that would help repair my credit and pay me to refer people to them with the same issues, right, behind personal credit. So I got started with them, and ever since then, I've been helping people repair their credit for almost 3 years now, right? So I've helped hundreds of people, maybe even thousands now, or somewhere over that number, um, improve their credit and the quality um, of their finances by qualifying for new loans and new lines of credit, right? So again, I started out actually with another company, but I learned a lot of valuable information about the credit and credit industry and how credit works. And so what I decided to do was just to step out on my own independently about almost 6 months ago. And my goal was just to continue to provide value and practical information for all people via um, these different social media platforms. So let's continue. So just a brief outline about what's going to be going on. What's going on, Age? Thank you for muting the phone. Welcome. So points of discussion, right? How late payments are calculated, right? How late payments affect your credit. Um, Tips to prevent late payments. What's a goodwill letter, right? And disputing late payments. How to negotiate a late payment. Disputing with the creditor versus the bureau, and then a quick recap. And this is very pertinent because, like, right now with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people are falling behind on their bills, and part of that is that they're incurring late and missed payments. So this is very pertinent information for and you or anybody that you might know. So how to remove late payments from your credit report. The first thing that needs to be established, though, right, is stop making late payments. It's crucial. Like, a lot of people don't understand, when it comes to building and maintaining personal credit, the most important factor in your FICO profile is your payment history, right? How well you pay your bills on time or not. So out of 100% of your overall credit score, your payment history makes up a whopping 35% of your overall credit score, guys. Or in numbers terms, this makes up 192.5 points. So when you turn 35% into a decimal, which would be 0.35, and you multiply it um, by 550, which is what the FICO scores you on, right? FICO scores you from 300 to 850. So you got 550 points that you're playing with. Out of that 550 points that make up your overall credit score based on FICO, 35% of that, or almost 200 points, makes up your payment history. It makes up the bulk of your credit, right? So as you see on the screen, it says late payments account for 35% of your overall credit score. Then I broke it down, right? So the different percentages make up the whole pie. So you got 35, which is payment history, 30, which is credit usage, 15, account age. So the age of your accounts, the age of your credit, right? Good credit is like wine, right? The older, the better. This is why closing old accounts can also drop your score. You don't want to close old accounts because you're getting rid of credit history, you're getting rid of age, you're getting rid of payment history behind all that, unless you got a lot of late payments. If it's a closed account or you want it closed, close it, get rid of it. But 10% credit mix, 10% new credit and inquiries. You don't want a lot of inquiries or new credit. You want to apply, reasonably, right? But 35%, guys, the bulk of your overall credit score is based on how well you pay your bills, your payment history. So I just gave you the master key to building credit. We can end this call right now, right? Like let's hang up. Let's go home. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get off the call. All right. All right. So again, this is the most out of the 5 personal scoring factors. This is the most important, payment history, right? That's why I said like this could drop your score, anywhere from 50 to 100 points just by missing a late payment, depending on what type of account it is, right? So late payments can legally stay on your credit report for 7 years. A lot of people might not know that, right? A lot of people contact me about late payments from 2-3 years ago, and it's like people just don't know that they can last that long and that they'll stay up there. One of the keys to remember though is the older the late payment is, the less of an impact it's going to have on your overall credit score, right? So as it goes on, it's going to have less of an impact, right? Even though it does hurt you the most, it will eventually dissipate, right? So, but you want to avoid having late payments on things like, your credit cards, your student loans, mortgage, your car loan, or anything on your credit report, or anything that's reporting to the credit bureaus, all right? So just some strategies to avoid late payments, right? Because let's get ahead of it. Let's get ahead of the game before we even have a problem. Because by the time you get a late payment, it's too late, right? Pretty much, right? Although I will give you guys some strategies on this call, on this webinar, to deal with late payments once you've incurred them, right? And we'll deal with some other things as well. So some strategies to avoid them. Use auto pay or automatic bill pay options, right? This will help you develop the discipline until you can do it on your own. And even if you put the minimum payment amount on auto pay, it'll still save you from having late payments on your credit report, right? And that goes for anything from your credit cards, your mortgage, your student loans, or your car loan, etc. Anything that's reported to the credit bureaus, you can put it on auto pay and at least put the minimum balance on there, right? If you're not gonna, and I'm not saying only pay the minimum balance, because you want to pay the whole balance off every 30 days or every time that it's due. You don't want to carry a balance. Some people say carry a balance, but don't carry a balance, right? But what you want to do to avoid late payments is you want to use automatic bill pay, right? You guys is coming on late. I'm going to upload the video to, it'll probably be on YouTube. So make sure you go subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I drop new videos and stuff like that. But if you're late, I will upload it there, and it will be on the DIY credit repair site as well, for you guys that are trying to repair your credit on your own. You need resources. So even if, like I said, put the minimum balance down, right? Because the minimum, the minimum payment amount will carry you over, and it'll stop you from incurring the late payment, if you forget, right? So that's one strategy that you can use. And it works, guys. It really works, right? Another strategy, change your due dates. This way, right, you're less likely to miss certain payments. If you have due dates that are due on different dates, right, and it confuses you, you could just change the date to be around the same time, right? So if another thing is like, so you're around your payday, if you get paid bi-weekly and you have a lot of bills that are spread out during the month, you can actually call and have the due dates changed, right? Work with your creditors and have the due date changed to a date that's more around the time where you get paid, right? This will help you remember to pay that particular bill. You won't miss it. You won't get the late payment, right? So like I said, you can also put your due dates on a calendar in your phone, right? This way you also get a reminder alert on your mobile phone. Might have went out, but on your mobile phone, of course we use our phones every day, so you're less likely to miss a bill payment if it pops up as a reminder on your phone, guys. So these are just little things that you can do to avoid late payments, because when it comes to building and maintaining your credit score, it really starts before it hits your credit. Your credit report is like the final destination, right? You want to be able to work outside of things hitting your credit report before they pop up, because this is how you're able to stop the problems, right? Prevention is better than cure, right? We want to prevent drastic drops in our credit score, right? The one thing that's going to drop your score the most is these late payments. So it's very key that I know that these strategies seem kind of simple, but that's how you have to keep it, right? You have to keep it simple, right? And a lot of times we don't do that and it gets complicated and we just have to get back to the basics. So these are some basic strategies that a lot of people overlook, right? Just a side note, right? It's also important to know that you're legally not considered late until 30 days after your due date, right? And that a creditor can't report you until 30 days after your due date, right? You may incur a late fee, but you will not be reported as late on your account, which is the key, right? So if your bill is due on, say, like the 15th of the month, you can't be legally reported to the bureaus as being late until the 15th of the following month. So one of the strategies that you can use if you're disputing and you're looking for something that's called like a factual dispute, if you notice that they reported the due date, the late payment, and you know you paid it before it was actually 30 days, right? You can actually dispute it based on that fact, right? So if you pay it on the 20th and it was due on the 15th, it's not going to be late, right? Even if it goes into the next month and it goes up into the 10th, it won't be late. Do not use this as a crutch, right? And don't, just to know, once it hits that 30-day mark, it will be reported as late, and then now we have an issue because, like I said, once it's reported, it's like too late, right? So if you have some sort of financial hardship, you can definitely use this as a fallback, right? So the Fair Credit Reporting Act, right, which is the federal law that allows you to dispute in regards to late payments, right, that are inaccurate or that can't be validated or verified, right? The misconception is that valid late payments can be removed from your credit report, and that's simply not true, right? However, right, if a late payment is reporting inaccurately, you can dispute the inaccuracy to have the late payment or the account removed or updated, which of course will help improve your credit score, right? So there's a big misconception that there's this secret 609 credit repair dispute letter that you can use that's just going to make all your late payments magically disappear. And that is completely false. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, like I said, allows you to dispute the late payment if it's inaccurate or it can't be validated. This is why monitoring your credit is very important. Being aware of your payment history yourself is very important, because if something pops up and you know that it's not valid, you know how to dispute it based on the Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? We're not going to waste time disputing something that's valid, which a lot of people do. So disputing with the creditor, right? I'm gonna get into how disputing with the credit bureaus and the creditors, right? So when you dispute with the creditors, right, there's a difference between disputing closed accounts and also open accounts, right? And also reaching out to the creditor and reaching out to the bureaus. You want to be strategic when you're disputing your reports, because certain lenders, they just don't like to see all your accounts in dispute at the same time. This is why we tend to tell our clients, when you're in the process of credit repair, do not apply for any credit right now. You're gonna look desperate because the creditor could see that everything's in dispute. They know that you're trying to clean your credit report and you're being desperate for credit, right? You need to be patient. So again, this is also why working with the creditor first is also recommended when disputing late payments, right? Because you could, like I said, you could waste a lot of time trying to dispute a valid late payment with the credit bureau when you could just go directly to the creditor and try to get it forgiven and then use that as leverage with the credit bureau to get it removed, right? One other thing that you want to understand is that if you have excessive amount of late payments, right, you got 10 to 20 late payments on an account, then it's going to be extremely difficult to get them removed, right? You're just going to need to start practicing really good payment habits, right, so that you can avoid this in the future. And this is just where reestablishing positive payment history comes into play, right? Like I said, if you have excessive amount of these strategies are for people that, right, like you genuinely have a hardship going on. You suffer from some type of medical problem, you lost some hours at work, you lost your job, COVID pandemic hit. all these different things. You can use these things as valid reasons, right? If you're just trying to get a late payment off because you forgot and you're just trying to get over about it, it's going to be very hard for you, right? And you're going to probably one of those people to think, oh, credit repair doesn't work. But you have to be, we have to be strategic about this. So the goodwill letter, aka the hardship letter, right? You want to use those to reach out to the creditor first, right? And you could get those on our DIY Credit Repair Mastery website if you need those as well. You also can use live chat or phone call, right? And not to say that some people that this doesn't work. Some people do have success with this, but and I'm not saying don't do it, but what I'm saying is you always want to dispute in writing, right? Writing leaves the paper trail. It starts the initiation process where you have a documented evidence and proof that you started the process with the creditor in case something happens where you have to go to court about it or you have to present it in that type of way legally, right? So, but you can actually call in or do the live chat. Sometimes that works even better, right? And you just being genuine about your situation. You're asking them like, listen, I've been a customer for X amount of time. I've never been late. I never really had a problem with you guys. Work with me, right? So just some steps to take, right? Build the relationship, right? Outline your business relationship. And this is when you're utilizing the dispute process with the creditor, right? And you're using the goodwill letter, the hardship letter, etc., right? Outline the relationship that you have with that particular creditor, right? And let them know how long you've been a customer with them and in good standing, right? I've had this credit card for 3 years. I've always been in good standing. I've had this car loan for 4 years. I've never had a late payment. Use that to your advantage when you're communicating with them, because you have to understand at the same time you're communicating with another human being. Yes, they work for the company. They're going to look out for the best interest of the company, but you have to explain your situation. You have to make yourself relatable as a human, right? Next thing you want to do is take a look at your situation, explain your situation, outline what happened with you, and be kind in your approach, right? Don't be antagonistic. Yeah, you have these things happen. And a lot of people, I find that this is kind of weird, but they know that they had this late payment and they come at the creditor like the creditor was wrong. You can't do that. That's going to make it really, really hard for you to get it off your credit report. And you could do this maybe in one shot, right? So just let them know that you had some sort of financial or medical hardship. Like I said, you were impacted adversely by COVID-19, by the pandemic, and it explained the situation that made the late payment occur. And be specific, right? Be specific about what you're asking them to do and let them know your plan of action, right? It's very important that, you let them know that, you're in a better situation. I lost my job, but I'm looking for a job. I'm currently hired, right? A better situation to keep up with your payments now. You can ask them to remove it then, and you have if you can't ask them to remove, you have no explanation or solution, right? You can't just do that. You know what I mean? It's best to have some sort of explanation or solution. So then you want to negotiate, right? That if you do, if they do remove the late payment, you will do X, Y, Z, or that if you're doing X, Y, Z, that they should remove the late payment, right? So say things like, you'll put the late payments on auto pay, or that you'll pay down whatever balance that's owed or any late fees that are associated, right? You just have to be really, really consistent. And you also want to make sure you're sending your creditor dispute letters to the right addresses and to the right persons and people at the company that can actually help you, right? A lot of times, even when you call, you might get a rep that's in a bad mood that day that might not be willing to help you. You might have to call back later on the next day, right? It might take you a week, 2 weeks on a call tip. It might take you 2 or 3 dispute rounds back and forth, 4 or 5 rounds in writing, because you just got to get the right person sometimes. That has to be factored into the equation as well, guys, right? So now disputing with the bureaus, right, is the thing you have to ask is it accurate and verifiable, right? You're simply when you're disputing with the bureaus, it's different than disputing with the creditor, right? You're simply disputing the validity of the account, right? The information has to be verifiable. It has to be accurate, right? And when you're doing it, be specific about what it is about the account that you are disputing, right? Is it the amount? Is it the date that's wrong? What is it, right? And then what if it is valid, right? Uh, you want to start to develop positive payment history and begin the disputing and reconciliation process with the original creditor and not the bureau, right? A lot of people waste a lot of time. So back to being, the accuracy and verifiability, right? So three things will happen, right? When you dispute with the credit bureau, they're either going to respond with a non-response, which means if they don't respond back to your dispute, it automatically gets removed from your credit report. It automatically gets deleted, right? Or updated, or whatever it is that you want to happen with that account. Like, it's not always good to have account removed, especially if it's open account, or even if it's a closed account with a lot of payment history behind it or a lot of age on it. That you can simply go back to your credit card, go back to the creditor, particularly credit cards, and just reopen it, right? So that's the first thing that they'll do. They may come back with a response, and they may update or delete the information, right? Which is also a good thing, right? We either want the information deleted or we want it updated, right? Or they can respond back that it was verified, right? And so, like I said, what if it's valid, right? So if it's a valid late payment, then like I said, the best thing to do is just to start developing positive payment history and begin the dispute and reconciliation process all over again, right? So a lot of people waste a lot of valuable time disputing these type of accounts with the bureaus when they should just dispute it with the creditor and from the jump, right? And that it just doesn't make sense, right? Effective sense, right? So you, like I said, you may have like a Capital One credit card with 5-year history on it, with one or two late payments, or just one late payment, and you dispute it with the bureau, and then you get the account removed instead of updated in your score takes, right? So you got to be careful when you are disputing certain things. This is why seeking some sort of professional help, or getting on these type of calls and learning how to do this process is very important, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to lose out on history, positive utilization, and a lot more. And it's gonna tank your score. So you just want to be careful. You don't want to cause more damage. Like I said, if the account is closed, then you want to dispute it with the bureaus. If it's open, to dispute it with the creditors, right? The key to remember is that if it's a valid late payment, the chances of it being removed from your credit report are hard unless you can find a factual error in the reporting, right? If it's valid and you want it removed, then your chances are better to work with the creditor, right? And use the creditor to communicate with the bureau to get it removed, right? Or forgiven or whatever. So again, pay down any balances that you might have, right? Before asking them to work with you. That's always a best practice, right? Do not start this process and then go max out your credit cards. Be genuine about doing this, right? Oh, I heard late payments. If I get the late payments removed, it'll bump my score up possibly 200 points. So I'm just gonna go dispute late payments, and I don't have the intention to really maintain and build my credit score, right? Um, okay, so I wasn't aware that the slide did that, but so the impact of late payments, guys, understand, right? Late payments can drop your score 50 to 100 points, right? It's because of the amount that the right, the percentage of the factor that it makes up, 35%, right? And paying your bills on time for the next 12 to 24 months is key to being able to qualify for bigger loans and lines of credit. So you have to keep in mind that when you trying to build and maintain your credit, this is a long-term process, right? Credit repair, some people, oh, how soon am I going to see results? You're going to see results within 15 to 45 days. Once you start the process, stuff will start to happen, updates, stuff will start falling. But maintaining and building and maintaining your credit score is a lifetime thing. That 3-digit number is going to be with you for the rest of your life, most people. So this is not an overnight thing, right? So just keep that in mind as well when you're trying to tackle these different things, right? Continuing. So just some key takeaways. Another thing to remember is like I said, the older the late payment is, the less of the negative impact it will have on your overall credit score. Again, be specific in your disputes, right? Make the disputes personal. Don't use cookie cutter reasons, right? Or be very vague and broad and ambiguous, right? Be genuine and kind in your approach, and you'll get more with honey than salt. That's a very old saying, but it's very true, right? So, like I said, just a quick recap. Um, Definitely want to use auto pay if you don't have that. You definitely want to set calendar reminders, change your due dates, make outline of your bills, use the goodwill letters, guys. If you need those goodwill letters, reach out to me. You can definitely find them on the website, purchase those, or you can join the DIY Credit Repair Mastery Club and get those for free, and plenty other things as well, resources. And just give yourself time and be patient with this process. Just know that this is not something that's going to happen overnight. If you had credit issues for 3 to 6 years, you could wait 3 to 6 months to get your credit back on track, right? Um, so like I was just mentioning a few things, just these are some of our services. If you know anybody that's looking for help with their credit, or you need help with your credit, reach out. We do offer a one-time fee, 30 to 100-day program. You also get free access to our DIY Mastery Club. Um, and then we also offer the Do-It-Yourself Credit Repair Mastery Club, where we equip you guys with everything that you need to repair your own credit with the dispute letters, ebooks, tutorials, more. I'm still working on building that out. It's going to be a continual build out website type thing with a lifetime access. So as I find new materials and new information, it will be uploaded, things of that nature. So, and then also coming soon, we're going to be doing a 7-day credit repair challenge, where in 7 days, we're going to teach you exactly what it is that you need to be doing, to repair your credit even more. We're going to get a little bit more in depth with that. And so with that, if you have, like I said, if you have any issues, reach out to me. My name is Akeem Bey, Coach Keem, the Credit Sheik. My website is there, my email address, my phone number. I'm on social media all the time, you guys. Thank you for having me. If you guys have any questions, I'll go ahead and open up the mics right now. So if you guys have any questions, just unmute yourself and you can ask. If not, we'll end it. Thank you for your time too. All right, guys. It seems like nobody has any questions. This video will be uploaded to YouTube at some point in time, and it will be uploaded to the DIY Credit Repair Mastery Club website. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm Akeem Bey. Take care. Be safe.